Primary storage data management has become one of the hardest challenges in IT. This is due primarily to the fact that data grows so fast without being classified. Now, this causes a tremendous amount of problems when it comes to managing data. Keeping it safe, ensuring it is deleted when it is not needed, that it can be found when it is, and making sure it isn't costing too much to store are all issues that need to be dealt with. We are now seeing this challenge with the secondary data management or backup data management. Now that this data repository is being used for a number of use cases, if it is not managed properly, businesses will not be able to extract the kind of value they need out of this data. And if it's not classified properly, this data can get companies in a great deal of trouble. This is the foundation of why IBM has integrated its flagship data protection solution, Spectrum Protect, with the newest member of the Spectrum storage software portfolio, Spectrum Discover. Hi, my name is Steve Keniston, and I'm the Business Development Executive for IBM Spectrum Storage Software, and today I'd like to talk to you about this integration. It is designed to extract the metadata from the Spectrum Protect catalog in order to help mitigate risk from the data in the backups and improve overall data protection storage utilization to help save money. The lack of visibility and understanding of data leads to all kinds of business challenges. In some cases, IT tries to gain an understanding manually, but when you have hundreds of files, this just does not scale. And with billions of files, it is an even more difficult problem. Because companies lack visibility into large, unstructured data stores, which often quickly grow to hundreds of terabytes or even petabytes in size, especially backup environments, companies usually have several challenges when it comes to managing these large storage repositories and pinpointing the relevant data. Now first, a primer on Spectrum Discover. One of the newest solutions in the IBM Spectrum storage portfolio, Spectrum Discover, has three key pillars that have come to define its existence. Spectrum Discover is designed to drive better analytics of your data, improve data governance, and storage optimization. Spectrum Discover is able to drive value by being able to provide data insights at petabyte scale. We're talking about providing insights across billions of files and objects. Spectrum Discover can do this with three key capabilities: the automatic and ongoing ingest and cataloging of metadata once configured. Spectrum Discover goes beyond system-level metadata and provides custom metadata that dramatically improves administrator productivity. For example, admins can see more than the capacity utilization overall. They can also see utilization by department and project, which streamlines communications and approvals. Spectrum Discover is an extensible platform that easily integrates with other IBM solutions and open source software via the Action Agent API. The combination of the API, custom tags, and policy engine accelerates identification for compliance and large-scale data analytics. The business value behind Spectrum Discover comes in three flavors. From an optimization point of view, Spectrum Discover provides advanced analytics by default to quickly and easily identify data across the hybrid multi-cloud heterogeneous storage environments that is a candidate for cleanup. Now, the data may be moved to a colder tier of storage or removed entirely from the environment. Oftentimes, over 40% of the data in an organization is a candidate for some sort of cleanup, resulting in lower CapEx and also, believe it or not, OpEx. Spectrum Discover can be used to mitigate business risk and help meet corporate governance or compliance by helping to find, inspect, classify, and clean up data. Now, GDPR is a good example of where this solution can be a big benefit. GDPR regulations enforce that a company's customers are afforded the right to have their business forget who they are when they are asked. This is called the customer's right to forget. Deleting data or a client from primary storage is pretty easy, but from backups it is very difficult. By taking advantage of this integration with Spectrum Discover, vendors can ensure that they can live up to the letter of the law when forgetting customers for all of their stored data, no matter where it is. Lastly, Spectrum Discover can help reduce the time in getting accurate results from their big data or AI analysis by minimizing the burden of data preparation by orchestrating data pipeline operations. In order to understand how Spectrum Discover can help with your Spectrum Protect environment, let's look at 5 common questions that come up when thinking about backups. 1. Do I have data in backup pools that has aged or could be moved to an archive? 2. Do I have abandoned data or dark data in my Spectrum Protect environment? 3. What types of data am I backing up and how big is it? Is there data that can be removed from the backup? 4. What is the content of my archive and my inactive data? How can I map this information across organizational constructs with custom tags? This presentation is designed to help answer some of these questions by taking advantage of the integration of Spectrum Discover and Spectrum Protect. Configuring Spectrum Discover to integrate with Spectrum Protect is simple. Install Spectrum Discover, which is a virtual appliance, and takes minutes. First, you name your connection, and from the pull-down, select Type of Connection. There's one for Spectrum Protect, so select that. Next, as you can see from the screenshot, you'll need to know a bit about your Spectrum Protect servers. Configure the Spectrum Protect server IP and the database port. Name the instance, user, and password, and that is all that is required. Select Submit Connection, and Spectrum Discover is off and running, interrogating the Spectrum Protect catalog's metadata to understand the data you have in your backups. Lastly, you can schedule Spectrum Discover to continue to query the Protect DB2 catalog on a periodic basis to keep the metadata in Spectrum Discover current. Now, as you can see, the process for integrating Spectrum Discover and Spectrum Protect is very easy. Once Spectrum Discover is installed, configure Spectrum Discover to ingest the metadata from the Spectrum Protect catalog. After this is complete, which doesn't take very long, IT is able to use the default analytics to generate simple reports about the data they have in Spectrum Protect. Next, IT can create custom tagging to classify data that is in Spectrum Protect and use these characteristics to create custom reports and take action based on the needs of the business and the curated data. Spectrum Discover provides users with 3 different types of experiences, and we will go through a few examples of these user experiences with specific use cases. The user experiences break down into dashboard drill down, a visualization search, and an ad hoc search. The dashboard drill down lets you select on an individual widgets inside the UI to refine and group reports based on the results and refinement that users can take action. The visualization search allows users to refine search results based on visualization cards to hone in on what they are looking for. Ad hoc search provides a global metadata search catalog for your entire backup environment, allowing you to use SQL-like search syntax to drill down to obtain what you're looking for. Let's look at a few examples of the Spectrum Discover and Spectrum Protect use cases for each of these user experiences. Administrators have the ability to bucketize their data based on a number of characteristics. If we think about the questions we asked before, we can create buckets based on data age analytics, such as how long the data has been sitting around, and what data could be moved from the backup pool to be archived or even deleted. This can be used to help save money. Administrators can look at data by type or instance. For example, what type of data do I have, or where is a specific type of data located? This can help with compliance or governance. Data can be categorized by size, for example, how big is a backup set by backup server, or how big are the files in any backup set. This can help with overall backup performance. Or, data can be analyzed by how much data is in any given file space. The results are shown in a very easy to understand UI buckets that can be manipulated to get the detail needed to make decisions. Next, let's look at an example of the dashboard drill down user experience. This dashboard can be reflective of the Bucketize categorization we just discussed. You can see the dashboard is showing the total number of backups recorded and the logical capacity it consumes. Next, you can see, categorized by Spectrum Protect server, the amount of capacity each server is protecting, and based on some basic criteria, data that is recommended to be moved. You can select the dark blue recommended to archive box and drill down to see what data that actually is. After ingesting the metadata for all the files, Spectrum Discover performs built-in analytics to identify and group data that has not been accessed in different time intervals. This is totally customizable. From the Bucket UI, users can pull down and look at data by age. This will then show a number of files that are in the backup, in this case, that are a year old. Next, you can see how much backup capacity, in terabytes, is being used. You can drill down on any of these statistics by selecting the image, for example, the circle that shows how many files there are, and see a report that shows a list of these files. Other examples are that IT may want to see the size distribution of data to help understand where big files that have not been accessed in a significant period of time that could be moved to tape or cheaper storage. The size range bucketizing is customizable by Spectrum Discover. In an example of search visualization, users can select a list of criteria such as platform, size range, node name, data source, time since last accessed, file space, as this example shows. Once selected, click on the next arrow to drill down on the characteristics of the data in the backup. Administrators can select specific criteria for a deeper analysis of the data. In this example, the user has selected a number of criteria to look at files that are over a year old on a specific Spectrum Protect server, and all the associated node names for that data is being backed up for that server. IT may also look at a file type distribution and also identify potential duplicate data in the environment. These analytic tools yield a significant amount of data that is a candidate for cleanup. This data can be further organized by mapping the data against one or more organizational constructs, such as department or project custom tags. This means that for each department or project, or whatever custom tag that has been applied, IT can tell how much data is a candidate for cleanup and generate custom capacity showback reports for the department or project with more details. Another example of the value Spectrum Discover can bring to Spectrum Protect is by ingesting all of its metadata to provide global search capabilities. Administrators can select any number of characteristics to search on. Examples such as, show me all data owned by a particular user, or from a particular node, or a particular node backed up since a specific date, or for any particular keyword or project. The powerful thing about Spectrum Discover is the ability to cross-reference the metadata. In this example, you can see the capacity is used by the owner, the number of files protected, and how much capacity their backups are taking up. In addition, administrators can drill down for more data such as node name, management class, and age. Also, administrators can capture metadata for a specific user. The search capabilities are also very flexible, allowing IT to gather a great deal of data about data in their backups. Spectrum Discover automatically classifies data based on system-level metadata. In addition, you can extend Spectrum Discover to be customized based on your needs. To start, define custom tags, and these tags may be used by organizations to describe the data in the backups in a more meaningful way. In Spectrum Discover, users have the ability to add and manage custom tags right from the UI. There are two types of tags, open and restricted. As the name implies, open tags are those that can have any value assigned to the tags. Administrators can choose to restrict the possible values of a tag that they might have, in which case the tags become a restricted tag. There is a third type of tag called a characteristics tag, which can be used for more granular classification of data. One example of using tags may be to flag a backup for a particular user to be deleted across all backups. Again, in the case of GDPR or personal privacy laws, a user, if a customer requests, needs to be deleted everywhere the company may have a record of them, including the backup. And this is a good way to find that data and then delete that data. The data flow for Spectrum Discover is as follows. First, Spectrum Discover ingests the Spectrum Protect catalog metadata. Next, the administrators can apply custom tags to the data. The data can be searched in multiple different ways, and once you find the data you are looking for, you can either restore or copy the files from the search result from any location they are backed up to any location. There are a number of resources available for Spectrum Discover, with more to come. First, Spectrum Discover supports a number of products that store unstructured data, including Spectrum Scale and IBM ESS, IBM Cloud Object Storage, Ceph, Isilon, Amazon S3, NetApp, an IBM Spectrum Archive, and of course, IBM Spectrum Protect. There are a number of posts on social media, especially in LinkedIn and Twitter and other IBM storage social media accounts. I encourage you to follow these posts for new information and share this content with your users. From a licensing perspective, Spectrum Discover is sold by the number of terabytes indexed after deduplication and compression. Spectrum Discover is also now available in the IBM Spectrum Storage Suite. Additionally, there are a number of assets that are available for Spectrum Discover, including this presentation and recording, as well as the IBM Spectrum Discover webpage that has product details. There is an IBM Redbook and videos that talk about Spectrum Discover, as well as a demo. Now remember, data classification is the key to data management success, especially with the more data you have. Get a handle on managing the data in your backups. Spectrum Discover needs to be a part of every one of your clients' Spectrum Protect environments. Thanks again, and my name is Steve Keniston, and please do not hesitate to reach out should you have any questions.